It's 2023 and everyone's going through their goals, their New Year's resolutions, and writing down what they want to achieve this year. For some, it may be that they want to quit their job, start a side hustle, or you may be even wanting to launch your own business. But there is always that fear that if we start something, what will people think of us? Will we fail? How will it go out? And will you be able to make enough money? Fear alone just stops us from achieving our best, trying our best, and reaching for the stars and being ambitious with our goals. Because let's face it, the 9-to-5 job isn't for everyone. We are sometimes put into a position or a situation where we have to work to make ends meet, to pay the bills, live paycheck to paycheck, and that is the only way we can really get ahead in life. If you were to think, if money wasn't an issue, what would it be that you would like to do? According to a US study, about 50% of all small businesses actually fail in their first year of running, and 95% of businesses actually fail within the first 5 years. Now, given these stats about failed businesses, and I'm going to be sharing with you my failed businesses or business ideas, I want to explain to you that it's not about the outcome or the end result. It's a journey that you take to actually find happiness in what you're doing. It is only through this journey, if you decide to take it or not, that you'll be able to find what it is that you're passionate about. Now, I'm going to take you through some business ideas that I've had over the past few years, and by the age of 27, I've now realized what it is that I am truly passionate about and what it is that I love doing. So let me take you through my 5 failed business ideas over the last few years. Now, during my time at KPMG, during the years of 2017 and 2019, I had a goal of starting a business. I really wanted to start something because a lot of people around me were starting businesses and I could see that they were making a lot of money. So I reached out to my colleague, who was also actually a dear friend of mine as well, and we discussed a business opportunity or an idea together. Now, this business idea was along the lines of a fashion company, and we were looking at starting up our own Indian designer wear. Now, we both thought that we had an eye for this kind of stuff because we would usually wear this kind of stuff to weddings, parties, so we thought we had a fair idea of the type of clothes that we wanted to sell. Now, were we wrong? Now, it's not to say that the fashion was the problem. It was essentially the whole business idea. We were 2 young individuals looking at ways to start a business, and this was the only idea that had come to our minds, and we wanted to go ahead with it. So we started to get the ball rolling. My friend contacted an accountant, which happened to be her dad. She tried to contact some suppliers, and I had started taking care of the marketing side of things. And it was very early on, but we soon realized and very quickly realized that this business was not going to work. One was that we weren't actually wholeheartedly giving our full time and dedication towards this. To run something of this scale definitely requires a lot of time and effort. And personally, in terms of coordination, I just think that if you're running a business with someone else, and I'm sure my friend felt the same way as well, you need to rely on the other person. And that's something I have a small hesitation towards, because then you lose control over running the business. This is also true even with friendships as well. If you're starting a business with your friend, there could be disagreements, and that friendship could actually fall out as well. It was only a month into this business that we decided to actually can the idea and stop this completely, because we learned at the end of the day that there was a lot that went into running a business. Yes, you can have an idea, yes, you can have a goal and ambition, but to actually do this and execute it was something else. And then 2 years later, in 2021, I had the grand idea of starting another business. I decided to launch my very own consulting business around career coaching. So I would offer CV reviews, cover letters, looking into people's social media, LinkedIn profile, and giving them advice on that. I was working on this business idea when I was working at my last corporate job, which was at Westpac. I worked on this project all throughout the summer holidays. Now, this was definitely a business that I had passion for, unlike the other fashion business. Career consulting was something that I thought I had a good understanding of, given I used to work at a Big 4 firm and then I landed a job earning a 6-figure income. I thought I could share a few learnings of my own to help people around me to succeed in their careers as well. So this is when I decided to quit my 9-to-5 job as well. And then a month after quitting my job, I had a website, I had a domain, I looked into how to accept payments, how to market myself, how to control the back end of website design as well. I did it all by myself. myself. Not gonna lie, but this business was very slow to start off. I didn't actually get a client until about a month after launching my job. I did, however, get a lot of traffic to my website, but people were just not converting. Now, a month later, once I did get some people wanting to request my services and get my help, I was very excited, obviously. However, the passion did dwindle away because I was no longer working a 9-to-5 job. I personally felt that because I was not in the game, and I felt after quitting my 9-to-5 job, no longer in the corporate workforce, I just lost passion for this and I didn't actually see that drive within me as opposed to when I started. Now, not to mention that this type of work, career consulting, was very much correlated to time and money. So what I mean by that is if I wanted to earn more money by doing these CV reviews or having consultations, it would mean that I'd have to put in more time and effort. Now, the more time and effort I'd put in, great, that would be great. I would earn more money. But then again, time is very limited. And yes, you could increase your prices, but then I just felt that that wasn't a fair market price. Now, of course, 6 months of running this business, I decided to quit and take my website down just because I wasn't passionate about this anymore. And in terms of the time required, it was just taking way too long. My learnings around launching this business and obviously failing at it as well is that I learned how to actually run a business end to end. I did all the back end admin stuff. I did actually have people wanting my service. So I actually carried out some work on my business and I marketed myself. So that in itself is a great big learning for me. Now, in early 2022, moving on to my next business idea, I decided to pursue the path of becoming a financial advisor. I've created a few videos here on my channel, which I will link down below in case you wanted to watch that. I decided to undertake financial planning because I thought that this is where my passion lied. I thought it would be a great business idea given everyone's after financial help. They're always needing some assistance with managing money, and I felt that I was the right person to do this. Given my commerce background, working at a Big Four within finance, I just thought that this was something that was right up my alley. So I undertook some studies and I was on my merry way to becoming a financial advisor. One day, a very loyal follower of mine actually emailed me and told me that this is something that I should really strongly consider before pursuing my next semester. He told me that because the financial industry is very heavily regulated, it would be such a headache in terms of compliance, in terms of the legal avenues, the financial burden as well required to be a financial advisor. He really did convince me because I pulled out, and I'm so grateful that I did, because now looking back, I, yes, went ahead and tried to become a financial advisor because at the time as well, ASIC were imposing restrictions on financial influencers and what they could actually say on their social media. And that is why I decided to take this up in the first place. But thank you to that follower who followed my journey and advised against it. I'm so grateful I didn't go down that path, because at the end of the day, I also did realize that that was not something I was truly passionate about. And again, with so much scrutiny in this business, in this industry, it would just have been such a headache. Now, the learning that I gained from becoming a financial advisor and going through about 2 subjects out of the 8 was that because I hadn't done too well during my university time, I had failed quite a few subjects. Whilst undertaking the financial advisor course, I actually did pretty well. I got distinctions in both of my subjects, very close to high distinction, and I think it was just a test for myself and to just prove myself that I could actually do it if I put my mind to it. So that was definitely a personal self-development sort of tick of approval for myself. The next business idea that I had was actually late last year, and that was around the idea of opening up my own beauty clinic and my own laser hair removal place. Now, this is quite weird if you ask me. It's something that's so out of the blue, but I haven't really explained to you guys how much I love fashion, healthcare, lifestyle. I love all of those things. So I thought that this would be perfect. I personally get lots of beauty treatments done myself. I get laser hair removal done. So I thought that I had a good understanding of what the market was after, and I felt like I could run a good, successful business. This idea did float around in my head for about 24 hours. I slept on it. I had a great business idea, great business model, but as soon as I woke up the next day, I realized that this was not actually something I wanted to do. I actually went into a few beauticians and I had a look at their practices. I had a look as to what they do on a day-to-day basis, and I just thought it really wasn't worth it. It really wasn't for me, and it's something that I don't really see myself doing long term. A great idea, but just something again that wasn't for me. I even started looking into some accreditations for that as well. Now, what did I learn from this? I learned that it's very important to go towards your passions and try it out, because you may find that that's not actually your passion at the end of the day. Moving on to the next business idea that I had, and that was with my partner. We decided to launch a podcast together. Now, you may think this is not a business, but it can be a business. People do earn money from this. But we didn't have the intention early on to start making some money, but maybe down the track we would have enabled monetization. However, after starting this business idea again, we soon lost interest. I think our audience was very much loving the podcast, but I just felt very drained and I had anticipated it to be a lot better than what it actually was. So we decided to can the idea. Now, I'm super grateful that I tried it because I've been on almost every single social media platform, and podcasts were just something that I never really got around to. So I'm glad I ticked that off the box as well. And at the end of the day, I found that just wasn't for me. Now, moving on into late 2022, this is just, in December last year, where I decided to cut back on my fashion related content. If you've been following me for some time, you know that I used to post a lot of Zara hauls, lots of fashion videos. I mean, I still do really love that sort of stuff. And I do post on my Instagram and my TikTok accounts about fashion and lifestyle from time to time, but I have significantly cut back on it just because I have found that in terms of effort and time, value of my money, I've just figured that it's really not worth it for me. And I personally haven't been seeing the returns on my investment. And I just found that my time was better spent on other activities such as personal finance, talking about careers, talking about self-development and productivity. And sometimes you just need to become comfortable with the idea that your passions may not work out, but if you've got a list of passions, maybe your second option, maybe your third option might work out. And for me, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm focusing on my second passion, which is career, personal finance, all of that good stuff. And why I decided to cut back on the fashion content is sometimes your strengths and your passions aren't always a great business idea. They may be better left as being hobbies. And that is why I think it's so important to trial out a few different things, because you just never know what it is that you're truly passionate about. Because if you think of Ikigai at the end of the day, if you haven't read Ikigai, I highly suggest you do. I personally haven't read it, but I do understand the principles of it. It's essentially finding what you love, what the world really needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And personally for me, I think personal finance is where it's at for me. So those are my businesses / ideas that really haven't worked out for me, and I'm super grateful that they didn't work out, because I'm now in a position where I'm completely focused for 2023. I know exactly what I want to achieve this year, what my direction is, and what pathway I need to take to get there. So take this as a sign for yourself as well. If there's something that isn't working out for you, maybe it's for the better, maybe there's something else just around the corner that's coming your way. But keep at it, keep trying different things, because you'll never know what you like if you don't actually give it a go. If you'd like to see other personal finance type of content on my Instagram and my TikTok, be sure to follow me over on Success by Sanjna, and I will leave some linked videos down below so you can check them out as well. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to my channel. It supports me and helps me out a lot. And I shall catch you guys in my next video. Thanks, guys.